Factorising trinomials. These are sometimes called quadratic expressions, but the really important thing is it's an expression with three terms. Okay, so we can see here like x squared minus 9x plus 20. So how we factorize this, when we have this, like we can see here, we've got an x squared, we've just got an x, and then we've got no x, it's just a number. How we factorize these is if we can factorize them, sometimes you just can't factorize them, so that might be something you come across. If you can factorize them, you are going to end up with something like this. So it's going to be two brackets. It's going to be x in the front of both of them. And then you're going to have to work out which signs you need. And you're going to need to work out what the other number is. So the best way for me to go through these is I'm going to go through a few examples. I'm just going to show you my method. There are other methods. So if this doesn't work for you, we can try a different one. But I hope this video helps, and let me know if you have any questions. So we are going to jump straight into this one. Let's give this one a go. So how you read these quadratics, these trinomials, how you read them is you actually have to read them kind of back to front. So I would say the factors of 20 okay, for factors of 20, this plus means that add, and then up to 9. Okay, so that's kind of how you determine the last number in the brackets, is you have to read it backwards like that. So we say the factors of 20 that add up to 9. So what I would do to start with, if I saw a trinomial question like this, is I would write down, let's just get my factors of 20. So factors of 20, these are the numbers that you can use to make 20. So you could say 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3, no, we can't do 3, but we can do 4 times 5. Okay, and then you've got to test which of these, if you add them up, so even though they've got a multiplying sign, if you add them up, which one of them gives you 20, gives you 9. So 1 plus 20 would give me 21, so it can't be them. 2 plus 10 would give me 12, so not them. So 4 plus 5 would give me 9. So these are my factors of 20 that if I add them together, I get 9. And then it's really just a case of, like I said, you're going to have two brackets. You're going to have x in the front of both of them. You're going to have 4 in one of them, 5 in the other one. And then you need to figure out what sign to use. Okay, so you'll start to get a feel for these signs. Usually, if it's like this, if you have a minus and then a plus, that means both of the signs are going to be minus. Okay, if you're not sure on the signs, plug in any signs. Remember, so we're doing factorization. The opposite of factorization is expanding. Okay, so let's just write that down somewhere. Well, I'm just going to write it like this. So factorizing the opposite of it is expanding. Okay, so if I want to check, did I do my factorizing right? What I can do is I can expand these brackets. So I'm going to test that then. I'm going to say, okay, this x minus 4, x minus 5. Let me expand this out and see if I get the original expression. So x times x is x squared. X times minus 5 is minus 5x. Minus 4 times x is minus 4x. Minus 4 times minus 5 is positive 20. If I simplify this, I'm just going to have x squared minus 9x plus 20, which is the same as what I started with. So if you get that, if you can work back, do the opposite, so expand and get the same expression, you know your factorizing is right. So then I know that this answer here with these signs, that is right. Okay, a lot of the times with the factorizing, especially with these trinomials, you're just going to have to play around to figure out the signs. So you'll see, you start getting a better feeling for it, so you start knowing what the signs should be. But if you really weren't sure, just plug in different signs, expand, and check which one gives you the right answer there. So let's look at a few more examples here. So next up, I've got this expression, a squared plus 7a plus 12. So again, we can see I've got the square, then I've got a by itself, and then I've got just a number. So it's a trinomial, it's a quadratic. I want to factorize this. So always with these ones, if I can factorize it, it's going to end up with 2 brackets, and it's going to have a at the front of both. If you have a plus and a plus like this, it means both of the signs are going to be plus, which makes this one's going to be a lot easier to do. And then now we just need to do the reading backwards part. So let's get our arrows so we can just check what we're doing here. So we are going to say the factors of 12. I'm just going to write it out just so we have it. So factors of the last term, so factors of 12. Because of that plus, we're going to say that add up to this 7. Okay, so factors of 12 that add up to 7. So I'm going to write my factors of 12. So I've got the factors of 12. I could have 1 times 12. I could have 2 times 6. And I could have 3 times 4. Now let's test if I add them up. So first of all, 1 and 12 would make 13. That's not it. 2 and 6 would make 8. 3 and 4, that would make 7. So these are the factors that I need to use, and I'm just going to plug them into the back here. Okay, so that is my fully factorized one. If you weren't so certain, or if you wanted to make sure, remember, opposite of factorizing is expanding, so you can check yourself. So let's do it in a different color. Let's just check this. So a times a is a squared. A times 4 is 4a. 3 times a is 3a. 3 times 4 is 12. If I simplify it then, it's going to be a squared. 4a plus 3a is 7a, and then 12. And you can see that is the expression that we started with. So then I know if I get this back, I know my factorizing was right. Let's look at another one. Okay, so x squared plus x minus 12. So you get any kind of the idea. We know we're going to have 2 brackets for our answer. Okay, so 2 brackets. I know I'm going to have x in both of them. And then if it's a case like this, a plus and a minus, we're not really sure what the signs are. Mostly, if this is a minus, yeah, we know one of them is going to be a positive, one of them is going to be a negative. Okay, but we're going to have to figure out which order they go in and if that is actually how the sign should be. Okay, so remember, reading it backwards here, we want the factors of 12. Okay, now because there's a minus there, we're going to say factors of 12 that differ by this number in front here. So differ by 1 because there's a 1 in front of that x. Okay, so let's get our factors of 12. So we just did the factors of 12, so luckily we got them right there. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. We want to know which one of these, if we subtract them from each other, which one gives us a difference of 1. Okay, so let's see. 12 take away 1 is going to give us 11, so it can't be that one. 6 take away 2 is going to give us 4, so it has to be these ones. 4 take away 3 will give me a difference of 1. Okay, so those are them. Like I said, we're not really sure what order they're going to go in. So I'm going to put them in just randomly like this. And what we're going to do is we have to do expanding to test if this is right. Okay, so let's expand to see if we get this x plus x minus 12. Okay, so if we expand this one really quickly. Okay, x times x is x squared. X times minus 4 is minus 4x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. So this is going to give me x squared minus 4 plus 3 is going to be minus x minus 12. And that is not what we started with, because we start with a positive x instead of a minus x. Okay, so if you get to a point where it's like this, then you know the factorizing was wrong, but the only thing that was actually wrong was the signs. So all we need to do then is we can say the actual answer, we're going to swap the signs around. And so we're going to have x minus 3, x plus 4. Okay, if you then did the expanding again, you would get the original expression. So that's how you can check that your factorizing is right. Let's have a look at another one. These ones do take a while to get your head around, so if you haven't got it yet, just keep watching, keep practicing. You will get it, it's just practice. Okay, so again, a squared minus 8a plus 12. How we are reading this is we read it backwards. So we say factors of 12. We've got an adding symbol there, so that add up to 8. Okay, so let's just do our two brackets. We can then say factors of 12. So we're getting good at these ones now because we've done them a few times. So we've got 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. We need to see which of these add up to 8. So 1 plus 12 is 13. That's not it. 2 plus 6 is 8. So that's our one. 3 plus 4 is 7. That's not it. Okay, so we know then we've got 2 and 6. So we're going to have A, 2, and 6. When it is like this, if it's a minus and then a plus, that means you've got a minus and a minus. Okay, but if you weren't sure, put in any signs, test, see if it works out. So just to prove that it is right, let's do the expanding. So a times a is a squared. 8 times minus 6 is minus 6a. Minus 2 times a is minus 2a. Minus 2 times minus 6 is it's positive 12. And so we get a squared minus 8a plus 12. And that is the original expression that we had. So then we know that our factorizing is right. So we know that this then is the right answer. Okay, and then last one we're going to have a look at is this one. So again, you're probably getting a feel for how we read it now. We know it's going to have two brackets. It's going to be x in front of both. And if it's a minus and a minus, it means we're going to have 1 plus, 1 minus. So you can think of the minuses, means it's going to be different. So how we read it is we're going to say factors of 12 that differ, or that have a difference, or if you subtract them, that differ by 11. Okay, so factors of 12, we have got 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Let's see which ones have a difference of 11. So 12 take away 1 will give me 11. So that is actually my answer there. So 1 and 12. So I just, same as before, I put it in any order. And then you're going to test if it's the right order by expanding. Okay, so let's quickly expand this one. X times x, x squared. X times minus 12, minus 12x. 1 times x is x. 1 times minus 12 is minus 12. So I'm going to get x squared minus 11x minus 12. So that is the right answer. So then we know our signs are right. So we can say then that this is how we factorize that one. If you got the wrong answer, when you did the expanding, you would just swap those signs around. I really hope this video helped you. Let me know